Welcome to ThinkTech, raising public awareness about technology, energy, globalism, and diversification. This is the Arts in Hawaii on the ThinkTech series. I'm Donna Blanchard, Managing Director of Kumukuhua Theater, and today I am talking with storyteller Jeff Gere. And we're going to talk about our stories. That's with a capital O-U-R. Remember that we broadcast live on the internet at 2 o'clock and at 4 p.m. every weekday. All of our shows are streamed on ustream.tv and Spreaker.com. And if you want the links to live streams and previous broadcasts, just go to thinktechhawaii.com. And if you'd like to visit us in our downtown studio, contact jfidel at thinktechhawaii.com. Jeff Gere is the Hawaii Park Department's creative drama specialist. Who knew we had such a thing? He's a storyteller who has traveled the world sharing and learning about people through our stories. Thank you so much for being here, Jeff. Oh, this is going to be a wonderful interview.
Very articulate, the guy.
I met you at the theater festival that was here in town, and we immediately connected over Jonesboro, Tennessee, where there is the International Storytellers Hall of what is it called?
Well, there's an International Storytelling Center, which produces the National Storytelling Festival in this tiny little town in the corner of Tennessee, close to the coast of the east. I haven't been there very much, but I've performed at both of those big events. I just came back from there as the only representative from Hawaii to ever do a week residency there in this sleepy little town, so I'm well aware of it.
Yeah, and it's a shock because you're driving through bucolic southeastern countryside, and then you see a sign saying the International Storyteller Center, and you drive into this beautiful, sleepy little town, and then here is this pristine, beautiful building that's behind us right now, lovely yellow building, and it's the oldest town in Tennessee.
It is, yeah, or the second. They fight about that, but yeah, that's one of their claims.
But it just comes up out of nowhere, and
it's gorgeous.
And it's odd and wonderful that this beautiful structure is devoted to storytelling. While I was staying there, I one morning went over and, you're just in time for the show. I paid and sat down in this beautiful little theater, and a handful of other people came in, and we listened to a marvelous storyteller just tell stories. And Jeff, that was the first time I'd ever experienced anything like that before.
Well, we'll have to give you many more such occasions here in Hawaii.
Well, and talk story is a big deal in Hawaii. Everyone wants to sit around and talk story. I didn't realize that we had a creative dramatic specialist in Hawaii.
Well, that's what most people say. When I announce myself, they'll look at me like, what? Yeah, I'm the drama specialist in the Parks Department. I am the last shard of the Great Society mandated by Lyndon Baines Johnson and federally funded so that cities could fulfill their dreams and build a better world. I am the last job on the books, still paying out a substance and a regular paycheck to a guy to do something on that mandate.
Wow.
Yeah.
In Hawaii or everywhere?
It was a federal program to all kinds of cities, but I'm the last in Honolulu.
And what exactly do you do? What is your job description look like?
Special events. I do the Talk Story Festival. 25 years coming up, October 18 and 19. You'll have to be there. I also do workshops for the staff, the Parks Department. We have the biggest child care facility in the state between when school gets out and school goes in. So in the summer, a lot of kids, like 20,000 kids on Oahu, flood into our parks. And I am the one paid employee who can entertain children of any age in as many hues, colors, and shapes as they come. I do shows from 10 to 300 3 times a day, every day, Monday through Friday for 6 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm, as my ex-deceased wife said, you're famous if you're under 10.
Yeah. My respect for you just went up several ticks. I mean,
it's great for working out material because you're so dead. At the beginning of the summer, it's, hi, kids. You want to hear a story? The end is like, sit down. And the stories still kick in. the imagination starts to get the story, the kids start to get that glossed over feeling, they start to slump down, the story starts kicking in, and I can come back to them in 5 years, because I come every year, and they'll tell me every year what stories they liked. Because they never see live shows, they never see old gray-haired Howley guys who go off and are really fun. And I have a ball. That's what I do during the summer. And then the Talk Story Festival in the fall, and all the rest of the year there's lots of special events, and we always have too big events and too little people, so I'm helping, every week there's something. And also it's called Liaison with the Community. Like today.
This is part of your job. I'm
Yeah.
glad I'm happy to help you out.
Right.
Tell me about the festival that you have. What does that look like?
Well, it's the biggest storytelling event in the state. It's now in its 25th year. It's had many formations, but now we're down to 2 nights, 3 hours a night from 6 to 9. Friday night, the theme is spooky stories. Saturday, the theme is going to be deep tales.
Where
Think about
could
it.
that go? Yeah.
We'll see. That's kind of up to the people I invite. So it's mainly locals and a few mainlanders who just find their way here. Friends of mine, people I invite, people who aren't coming to make money but want to have an adventure. And we just put on a show. They each have 20 minutes, so it's very fast. 20 minutes is long enough to get something done and not long enough for people to start to yawn.
Yeah.
So it's boom, 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 boom. Come back tomorrow. It's free. Friday, as I say, the 18th is spooky, Saturday is deep tales, and I have a free workshop. If you want to learn to tell stories, come to the workshop. It's 1 to 4 on Saturday.
There you go, Jay Fidel.
Yeah. Yeah. And anybody else who has ears to hear. I just invited you.
So, all of the stories are done in English?
Well, English-ish. There's Pidgin.
Yeah.
We just had some Japanese people come through who did sort of English-ish storytelling. Delightful.
Yeah.
We have a woman coming who does string figures when she tells stories. We have another lady who's from Ohio, and she kind of talks like this.
Southern Ohio. Then.
Well, Southern Ohio. I'm from that in the Appalachians.
Yeah.
So, but basically we can understand her, and story goes beyond all borders and into cultures, and the hearts understand. It may be a foreign land, but we understand what happens between boys and girls, and scary, spooky stories, and people that live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
And Hawaiian. We have some bilingual things happen.
Oh, okay, that's fabulous.
Mhm.
And actually, I wondered about that because talk story is such a Hawaiian tradition, and I work in the theater, and theater is not a Hawaiian tradition.
Right.
The sort of theater that we do, even at Kumukuhua, the stories that we are bringing to the stage many of them are very much Hawaiian, but the tradition isn't.
Right.
So we're always looking for ways to bring Hawaiian language plays to the stage, looking for ways to engage the Hawaiian audience, not only in the viewing, but in the telling. For us, we want to bring them into the writing of the script so that those stories are then more portable to other parts of the world.
I just had a storyteller. She's phenomenal. Kathy Collins. Her alias is Tida. And, you like your story? Sit down. I'm going to tell you one. Pay attention. I just talked to her and said, you should do the Pele and Hi'iaka epic. I just read it. It's a 400-page treatise, Puakea, Nogumeyer. Thick reading, but the stories are so phenomenal.
Well, Pele and her sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the formation of the islands. And
No, this is more like, here comes the volcano goddess. She dreams of a man on Kauai. They make love for 3 days. She wakes up on the beach in the big island and says, there's a guy I'd like somebody to go get for me over on Kauai. Who'd like to do that? All the other sisters go, no. And the young one, she says, oh yes, I'll go. Hi'iaka, her favorite. Oh well, go get him then. And it's a series of banishing ghosts and demons and spirits as she goes, gets the guy who has a voracious sexual appetite, and then comes back with him, never crossing that line. You're for Pele. And then Pele is jealous, burns the forests, ultimately turns the guy into an ashen column, and then Hi'iaka gets mad, starts stamping her foot, goes through the worlds, is about to destroy the world when they come to a peace. that in a very short synopsis tells a massively detailed story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's going to take, just on the terms of Hawaiian, she's doing it, she doesn't speak Hawaiian, but she speaks local pidgin and characterization of that story. We'll take a couple stories to start working on ways to put it on the tongue and speak it out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know, it drives me crazy with the strong women in the Hawaiian lore that they fight over a man. I mean, come on.
It's an old story.
I know, it's an old story.
Sorry. Go to any elementary school. Intermediate, anyway.
And you're also a liaison with the community.
I am.
So what else does that, other than being here? With
Anything
me?
I'm interested in, I consider liaisoning with the community. So if there's something going on and I'm interested in it, I go find out about it. Who else on the Parks Department staff has the time to invest in the curiosity to find out what's going on? Or I ask the staff what's going on, and I bring it to the rest of the staff, or just figuring out what are things that could add recreational value to the city. For example, the city's the Talk Story Festival is all videoed. So I take the video and I cut it at Olelo and put it on the air because I want storytelling to be a part of anybody who can turn on a TV set. Hey, you take the audio off of that and you've got a lot of stories that you can turn into a radio show, which I have done. Again, to extend storytelling into everybody's ears and touch their heart.
And when you talk about the shows that you've done in the summer for the Keiki, how many, do you have a team of people working with you? Who's,
I have a staff of 2,
okay.
the left and right hand.
Yeah, oh, okay. No, now if you set up to 300 kids there, are you corralling
me.
them all yourself?
That's me, yeah. That's
Alright.
the power of storytelling.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, and it's fun.
It's fun.
We have a blast. I mean, it's really fun. I know I speak kid. They've taught me what they like. I got a big rubbery face. I got a lot of voices. I jump around. I get black and blue. I sweat like crazy. And we have fun.
Oh, wow.
Fun. Or we get spooky. What is it about Hawaii? What kind of stories you want? Spooky! I'm going to scare your pants off. Yeah! Like, what? Are you out of your mind? Yeah!
Yeah, the first stories I heard when I moved here were the night marchers. Yeah, which we'll get to later. We'll get to some of that, hopefully. So, what a benefit that the city of the islands have you. Or just this island or others?
Well, officially within the city and county of Honolulu, I work, but outside of that, I have a very dynamic life, which includes often going to neighbor islands and telling the stories there, and I'm, liaisoning with them as well.
So you have the children groups in the summer. Like I said, when I was in Jonesboro and I went to listen to the storyteller there, I was by far the youngest person in the room. Yeah. What kind of audiences are you drawing around here?
Well, in the Parks Department in the summer fun, I'm drawing, kindergarten through 6th grade, 3 times a day, 5 days a week. I mean, just humans with ears that are in elementary school. Also do teen shows. Not that often, but some. I also, when I'm not working in the summer fun, I'm doing senior centers. My Talk Story Festival draws about 500 to 600 people a night because it's free and it's good entertainment. And we get little kids on the carpet in the front and we get old people in the back too. So there's not a demographic. I consider it generally humans with ears that sort of understand English. That's my target.
That's all you need.
That's basically it.
So what about the teen programs? How are those, do you structure those stories you're telling us a little bit different?
I'm sorry to say, a lot of boy-girl.
Yeah.
A lot of transformation, because they're going through that. Independence, voyaging out, adventure tales are really big with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break.
Okay.
We'll be back in just a moment. I'm Donna Blanchard, and I'm talking with Jeff Gere. This is The Arts in Hawaii on the ThinkTech series. We'll be right back.
Aloha, this is Jay Fidel. ThinkTech and the Hawaii Venture Capital Association put on monthly lunch and panel programs at the Plaza Club here in Pioneer Plaza. Our program this time is on September 26th. It's called Solar in Hawaii. We're going to examine the solar industry and see what's in it for the long haul. We have a great panel, great moderator. We'll be sending out email on this. If you want to be in our email list to receive the details, check out thinktechhawaii.com. In any event, you can sign up for the program at hvca.org. Thanks. See you there. This is Jay Fidel. Mahalo.
Aloha, I'm Hong Jiang at ThinkTech. I'm a host for Asia in Review on Tuesday afternoon between 4 to 5 p.m. At our programs, we learn about what's happening in Asia and why it is important for you to know about it. So I'm Hong Jiang, and I'll see you there.
Hi, we're back and we're live. I'm Donna Blanchard, Managing Director of Kumukuhui Theater. I am here talking with Jeff Gere, storyteller Jeff Gere, and this is the Arts in Hawaii on the ThinkTech series. Now, let's go back just for a moment to talk about the teens. Because we all know that for traditions to perpetuate themselves, you have to have that through line. And if you have, it's wonderful that you have the kids up to 6th grade, so 10, 11, 12-ish. But we have this with theater also. We very often have a disconnect when they get into teens, college. Sometimes we're lucky enough to have grown out of the university, but then if you lose them there, you may not get them back until they're retired. Yeah. So with the teens, so the stories are a little different, stories of adventure and transition and transformation.
Boy, girl, kissing, embarrassment, all the little things that are going on with them. Body changes, oh my God.
Yeah.
But basically you can just talk about more adult stuff. And I have this, it's just a beautiful relationship where I've talked to them for like 7 or 8 years, from like all the way through elementary and then all the way through their junior high, through their high school. This summer, I had a group from Waipahu. I've talked to them every year since they were in the program, and they started in 7th grade, and now they're going through 12th, and they just greet me like a friend. It's a little overwhelming. They come up and hug me and like, Mr. Jeff, awesome, how you doing? I'm like, and then they'll confide in me. They'll start telling me about their boyfriend and the problems at home, and I'm just like, wow. I'm like the adult cool guy they can talk to,
Wow.
And storytelling can open huge doors. People really believe it. I could just go on and on with the things where unbelievable. I'm coming back from Thailand. The head of the immigration points to me and says, "Come." I'm became my wife, and she's like, what do you do? And the guy says, you can go through, I know you, I like your stories.
Yeah.
Lost in Waianae, big 4-wheel drive, wait, what you doing? He turns around, I see a little kid talking. Well, where you like go? Hey, you're the storyteller, right? Hey, my daughter say you're good, I'll show you. Takes me to the place. Just over and over and over and over, to live in a community and have this sort of like, I don't know who you are, but I know you came to my thing, and it was fun, and I light up, and I see you, and
Yeah. Well, there's no pretense in storytelling, people may see someone on stage and be excited to, I don't want to say starstruck, but the relationship is very different. When you tell stories, you say, I'm here to tell a story, and if the story's yours, you say it, and if the story's one you heard, you're going to say where you heard it.
Well, and it's that in your theater discipline, there's a pretending that we're not there, the audience doesn't exist. Occasionally they'll talk to the audience, but generally it's put on in front of the audience, for the audience, as if the audience isn't there. In storytelling, you jump back and forth all the time, and most of the time you're talking right to the people. Sometimes you jump back and then pretend you're in the story. I do that all the time. I'm the people in the story, but I'm also me talking to you, telling you about the thing that's going on in the scene that I'm just now going to jump in and out of.
Right.
I'm both the people in the story, I'm myself listening to the story, I'm myself narrating the story for you that's going on right next to me. Now I'm back in it. And if you use the voices and with your body, you can shortcut, streamline now you know who's speaking because I've been clear all the way through it. The big guy's on the right, the little girl's on the left. She talks like this, he talks like this. And when I'm talking, I just talk like this.
The device of being in the story and narrating the story at the same time, the wildly popular show on Netflix, House of Cards, with I'm blanking on his name. Does the same thing. Oh, I can't believe I'm
He talks
blanking
right
on
to
his
the
name.
camera?
I love him. Yeah, he'll.
Oh, what a bright idea.
This is one of the lowest moments in my.
Yeah, this is the point where we say cut. We'll get it in post.
Kevin Spacey.
Oh, him! Yeah, I've heard of him.
I can't even pretend that I wasn't just given that through the earpiece. Thank you so much. Kevin Spacey, and he uses that. And the first time you see that they're utilizing that vehicle, it takes you aback, and he's talking to me now. How am I going to believe him when he's in the story? But it works, and I have seen that device used in storytelling before. That
Oh yeah.
it's pretty magical.
I'm generally the way because I don't read stories as much as stories come up and hit me in the face. I'm like a hunter and gatherer. One of my friends said. He says, "You don't talk like Hawaiian. You don't tell stories like Hawaiian, but you ain't Hawaiian." Fair enough. So I'm somewhere. Somebody comes up. Hey boy. Hey, I like to tell you something. Oh, you're funny. Hey, listen to this. Then I'm listening to the story that she's telling, and as she's telling me the story, I become, oh, can I see your daughter? Oh, yeah, you can talk to her, but stay on the porch. Don't go out in the dark. We watch you. So then the character's in the story, and then I'm me going, wow, that really happened? Yeah, it's a long time ago. I'm heard. So I'm always flipping back
and the story, yeah.
And by knowing where placement is, and by the voices and the way I move my body, everybody follows along, but you got to pay attention. Yeah, no sleepwalking. None of that. He said, she said. The bear walked up. No, the bear goes.
Save that
you got to
for
pay
the
attention.
books. How much of what you do is memorized?
It's not memorized like you're thinking. I don't have a script that I memorize and put in force my words around a printed page. If it's something I read, I only read it to get the pictures. And once I get the pictures, then I put away the written thing, and then I just speak it. I like to say that you take a piece of coal, and your tongue is the mechanism that hones the diamond. But it takes a lot of polishing and a lot of pressure. There's no shortcuts. It's sweat equity. So I'm always rehearsing. Every tell is a rehearse for the next time I do it, because I'm watching what the audience is telling me about what they're paying attention to, what they're not paying attention, especially the kids, because they're just like, they don't fake nothing. If they're into it, they're into it. If they're not, they may not be rude, but they'll just start wiggling, or the air starts to change, or when they're not moving an inch.
Then
I'm
you
like,
know, that's a keeper. So do you have stories that you've been telling for decades?
Yeah.
What's your oldest story?
Well, let's see. I know I was telling a story when my daughter was born that I still tell. And she's 33. Just had a baby. I'm a grandpa.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a good answer.
That's a good answer. That's a good way to remember the oldest story that you have. Do you have anyone that you told stories to when you were young who is now a storyteller themselves?
I was just a kid in elementary school who was small for my age, could talk really well, had a quick wit, and could run fast. So I got away with murder because I was lippy and I ran away. My mom was a drama teacher. She threw me into every musical from the beginning of time. I was Winthrop in Music Man. I've been through all that stuff. And so it doesn't seem that unnatural to me to be on stage or to be performing. But I'm the guy, storytelling I love, because if you don't like the lines, you can change them around. Or if somebody wants to say something, why not? I love that the subconscious gets involved, and a story that I've told for 33 years is still gripping because those characters are still coming up with new things to say, and the philosophical underpinnings of what's reported in a folktale as a printed little set of points at which they move that way because they're thinking. because there's real issues involved. They're making choices all the way along, and the more gray hair grows on my head, the more I'm really looking at the story for, like, what is it really saying about human dynamics? I want to know about greed. I want to know, one of the stories that I tell, it occurred to me in the middle of I was in bed and I sat up and I went, oh my. The devil came, and he said, do not come the third night to that king, for he is an evil man, and he deserves to go to hell. Do not interrupt, or I will take you too. So he does the first and the second king, gets a lot of gold, but he's sitting in his bed and he sits up and he goes, do I believe that people don't change? Do I believe that people who are faulted should be given a chance to improve themselves? Do I believe that a man has a destiny to be good? Well, if so, let my philosophy inform my action. And he gets out of bed and he puts on his boots and he goes and he interrupts the devil who's going to take the bad king and scares him, and he goes away. And you know what? That evil king did change. He set up universal health care. He paid the elementary school teachers a lot more. He set up hospitals for everybody, and he paid the storytellers handsomely. He also gave the nonprofit theater group a big endowment so they could build a nice theater.
Excellent. I like that story.
Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Have you ever gotten lost when you're telling a story? With all the detail that goes into it, I imagine it being very easy to get caught up in that minutiae.
When you drive home, do you drive the same way?
Yes.
So do you have to think about where to turn?
No.
Do you remember that sometimes you have to get milk?
Occasionally.
Okay. So do you sometimes go faster? That's the point with the story, too.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a great detour. Sometimes I remember that I have to go to Waipahu. Sometimes, and this is very rare, but every now and then, in the middle of a story, another story will step in and start to take the narrative away, which is always interesting. Which means, oh, that's the story that's supposed to. I know more stories than I know. I've been doing this so long, I'm like, I forgot. People always tell the stories, I'm like, oh yeah, I know that story.
Well, and what about the news stories? When I initially moved here, I used my navigation system to get home for the first week.
Right.
Because I wasn't sure about where to turn. So when do you...
But after that, you pretty much knew it, right?
Yeah.
And pretty soon after that, you could fly home, or you could meander. You knew where you wanted to go the diversion, because there's a really nice playground, and there's lots of music, or you know how to go to the whatever it is, the extra little thing that's outside the video store, or So.
But during that first week, what's your navigation system?
Well, my approach, because I'm oral, is to tell stories. If I hear a good story, because I'm a hunter and gatherer, I go home and I tell it right away. So I start immediately, because my thinking is storytelling isn't like something that you do on a stage or in a formal situation. It's something you do all the time. And if you're hung up on waiting for a stage to be created for you to perform, then you're going to wait a long time. If you tell stories all the time, which we all do, then it's not a special occasion. All you have to do is watch the people that you're telling it to and see how they listen to you, to see if you're communicating clearly, if something's boring, or if they're gripped by it.
Okay, so, and you are listening as much. You're obviously
There's a
gaining those
witness
stories.
floating above, watching you and watching them and witnessing how it all goes.
Well, and also
out of the
listening
body.
when you're gathering the news stories. Yeah, when you're hearing them.
That's always interesting. How do you stay in the studio for a storyteller? You've got to have your radar, and sometimes I have to pinch myself. I'm not that tired. I can listen to yet another story. I'd love to hear another story. And I get worn out. But some stories you can't help. They graft themselves immediately, and you're stuck.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take another break.
Okay.
We'll be right back in just a moment. I'm Donna Blanchard of Kumukuhua Theater. I'm talking with storyteller Jeff Gere. This is the Arts in Hawaii on the ThinkTech series. We'll be right back.
Aloha, I'm Nicole Horry for ThinkTech. For nearly half a century, the Hawaii Foreign Trade Zone No. 9 has brought the benefits of the Foreign Trade Zone program to Hawaii businesses and entrepreneurs. DBET, the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism, operates Hawaii's Foreign Trade Zone program to encourage international business and economic development. The Foreign Trade Zone's mission is to increase the amount of international trading activity in Hawaii, thereby providing employment opportunities for the residents of our island state. For more information, see ftz9.org. I'm Nicole Horry. Mahalo.
Hi, this is Jay Fidel of ThinkTech. You know, we have some great shows during the business week. We broadcast 2 or 3 times every afternoon between 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock. I just want to mention also that we have a new show. This is The Arts of Life with Willow Chang. Check it out at 2 to 3 p.m. every Friday. Aloha. This is Jay Fidel.
Hi, I'm Donna Blanchard, and we're back and we're live. This is the Arts in Hawaii on the ThinkTech series. I'm talking with Jeff Gere, and we're talking about storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about listening to stories, how you're gathering them, and you mentioned that teenagers have a lot of stories that they're telling.
Yep.
What are you able to do with those stories? Are you able to turn them around?
Well,
for
as I
them?
said, I turn them right around the next day when I've got 3 shows, and I say, hey, you should hear the great story I just heard last night from the Waipahu kids on the spooky tour.
Yeah.
I spit it out. I spit it out, and I watch what they do. And if they love it, then I tell it the next day. And then I tell it the next show. And I tell it for maybe a week or until because I love the story. Oh, let's move this part over here. Let's move this part over here. Oh, as I'm telling it now, this person wants to talk differently. Or the interchange between them. I'm rewriting as you would in theater. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get the dialogue different. I'm trying to set it up or foreshadow what's going to come later. Or let me start at the end this time and do it as a flashback as they're talking about it.
Okay.
Just to see what's more fun and what holds the attention better.
I'm just still fascinated that how much kids are loving this, because we're living in a day and age of 140 character messages.
I hear this all the time, and they're always saying, "Oh, short attention span. They watch TV. You got to talk shorter and like that." That's not my experience. That is not the kids I know, which are from the lower end of the economic spectrum. This is the free programs, the cheapest child care facility in the state. I can tell you, as long as I am sitting in front of them talking, they will listen. Not everyone, not 100%, but I'd say 99% of them for 99% of the time. It's amazing. And it's the power of story, and it's because they've taught me how to talk to them.
Do you have goals with your stories?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want them to ever forget it. And I'll stop kids who are bouncing quarters or tearing those little lycra of, the Velcro. And they don't think about it. They're just like, and I'm like, what are you doing? Don't do that. This is the best hour of the week. This is going to be the one thing you're going to remember from the whole summer. Don't mess with it. Or just go, you, move over there. No, I mean now. Move. Yeah.
But when you're in, do most of your stories
I don't
have
want
some sort
anything
of...
to get in the way of that spell. I want that total locked in. You're not going to go anywhere else than where I put you. We are going to go to another planet. It's called your imagination, and I'm going to make this the most intense hour, the most vital, vibrant, happening time that I can possibly do, because that's both my internal inclination and it's my mandate.
Okay, so it's more immediate than having a goal, a long-term goal of...
Oh, if I have a long-term goal, I want to put it together tomorrow. My long-term goals are like not 5 years, they're like next week.
Yeah.
I don't want to wait. I don't know that I have 5 years to live.
Right.
So I'm, a 5-year goal starts today.
Yeah.
So.
So, is there a moral to the story, generally?
Live as fully as you can, and when you go home and your loved one goes, "Hi, honey, what happened today?" Your answer is they are inviting you to participate in their life. We ask that because we love somebody. And we haven't seen them for 8 hours, they've gone away, they've had a life. What happened? Cut out the fat, give me the kernel. What is it that happened? That's a story. That's important information. That's the best intimate experience that you can give to somebody. It's what we do. It's the coin of the realm of human experience. People tell stories all the time. Watch it. Pay attention. Because it's really important, and it's what you as a human can give to another human that nobody else can. Especially the one of what you did that day. That's the essence of storytelling.
Yeah. Do you normally have, do the stories that you're telling when you're at, say, the storytelling convention, or when you have your group here, do most of the stories have a goal within the
Each
story?
night we have a theme. So the first night is spookies, the second one is deep stories for this year. So, but I don't tell them what to say. I mean, that's their artistic choice. Some of the spooky stories are funny. I don't tell people to bring kids, but people do. They sit in the right front row and they
Yeah.
We had one storyteller say, "What's with you parents? Don't call me when your kid can't sleep." Yeah, I love it. I guess I lost the question.
It does happen sometimes.
Yeah, what was the name of that actor?
Kevin
Spacey.
Spacey.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
I have Ian in my ear who will always help me with these. I'm taking this with me, by the way.
Cue.
It happens to me. I'm the one with the notes in front of me, so no, I totally understand. Who uses my navigation system to drive home occasionally? No, I'm really wondering about if you have a story. I'm going to tell the story about the turtle and the angry goddess. I don't know that such a thing exists. Does that story necessarily have a wrap-up?
You mean a tale, a moral to the story?
Yeah,
Sometimes. Most of the time.
most of the time.
Most of the time it lives on because it speaks to somebody about something that matters. If it didn't matter, then it wouldn't be there. As a storyteller, you want to know that. What's the point of this story? Why? At least what's it mean to you? Maybe it doesn't mean that to everybody, but you should have some intention.
Yeah.
Where are you going with this? Otherwise, why tell that story? Why not another? Because I know so many stories. Why that one? Well, it's either the one that pops up that wants to speak, or it's like, oh, I know what story would speak to this situation. It's a wedding. So I want to tell a story that makes everybody think deeper about a choice to join with someone else in a loving and beautiful way. I'm talking to everybody in the room is over 80. I probably don't want to do a rap. I want to talk about plantation days. I want to talk about something that's got a nostalgic sweetness to it, something beautiful, maybe something spooky, depends who they are. But it doesn't mean you can't go there, but you have to be sensitive to the effervescent humanity in front of you. I don't know how to define it. It's more like a sensibility. I'm always like, I'll walk in with the first story or two, and then I'll just see what feels like they might like that.
Yeah.
Just let it go.
Do you have? You said that you also have classes for people who want to learn.
I do.
To tell
I do.
stories?
Every summer I do a class, which is kind of like I'll help you through the first 30 or 40 mistakes, and you can discover the next 200 on your own. But I always learn something, so it's fun to do because I grow through it. I hope it helps them, but usually people don't like to work too hard. They do it as a recreational event. And
Yeah.
I want them to do stories, and they I don't want them. So,
Well, not too many people make a living telling stories.
well, they don't have to make a living, but I mean, when you ride a bike, you don't say, "Oh, I don't want to get on a bike." You have to get on the bike, or know,
Right.
and then you fall over, and you say, "Well, I fell over." And I'm like, yeah, that's how you learn. Pretty soon, you don't fall over so much. But if you never go in the water, how are you going to learn to surf? So I'm in my classes. It's like a little bit of talk and a lot of talking to each other, a lot of doing, a lot of yakking. And then talking about what happened and what you learned or what you noticed. Or
What are the key components to a good story?
It's loud enough, for instance. You can hear it.
Oh, that's okay.
That's pretty important
That's a
when you're
good one to
talking to
remember.
seniors. It's pretty important.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Okay.
Well, you know,
you have to be able to reach your audience.
Right.
Literally.
I tell them that, you know, a lot of seniors, when they listen to me, they really enjoy it. I can see their heads.
They're nodding
out,
right
right?
along with you.
The answer usually is, you know, it has a clear beginning, middle, and end. But that's just so simple. It's generally what I like to say is it keeps you on your toes as a listener. You have to pay attention, and you don't know where it's going. So element of surprise, 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 and like when I was a painter, contrast, large, fast and slow, large and soft, you know, dynamics. And that's pretty much defined. The thing about storytelling is it's the most unique and personal of the art forms because it's up to you. What works? All I can say is from watching thousands of hours of videos of different storytellers that have appeared on my stage, the only thing in common is when it works, the audience is under a spell. Their imaginations are taking in the words, they're hallucinating or visualizing. Their own state of being is on suspension in the state of story. And they're all in it's amazing to be in a room with 600 people who all go, oh, at the same time.
They have to care about the characters.
They have to care about the characters. They have to care about the person who's telling them the story.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah?
If you don't like that person, I'm like, I want to go. I don't want to be around them. You know, have you ever been around a creep?
Well, see, that's far different than being involved in theater.
Oh.
Doesn't matter whether or not I like
So
the
those
actor.
actors are creeps.
I mean, I know people who they don't want to see anything with Martin Sheen in it because they don't care for his politics. But we're not talking about that.
Right,
You're talking
right.
about, you know.
Well, I'm talking about the kind of, sensibility of this is a good human being that I want to listen to and I want to spend some time with them, even if the stories that they take me in have despicable, diabolical humans. In fact, that's often the case because it makes a really dynamic drama.
Some of the best
Need
stories.
a bad guy.
Yep.
But, I think that's a component. Or some people don't work because they're on the page and they're reciting what they learned and it doesn't connect with the audience. Some people do that really well and it does connect, but behind the storyteller, I'm always saying, well, what's their motivation? Sometimes it's, behold the glory of me. Or you are lucky to be in my space.
Yeah.
I am so gorgeous and wonderful and talented. Or, let's have a ball. Or, God, I'm scared. And that can work too.
Yeah.
I've seen some beautiful little things where the mousy little person stands up and with all their willpower tell a story, and I'm getting tears in my eyes right now just from remembering some of the stuff that comes up. Or in these senior centers, some of the most beautiful stories, and I tell these stories, I dream the stories. They're told by old ladies in a quiet over a lukewarm cup of coffee and a little piece of donut, and they just tell me these stories. I'm just like, holy moly, you're kidding. No, everybody know that. That's nothing. Oh no, that's something. Nah, that's nothing. They don't even value their own life.
Well, I think our stories told with honesty will always resonate because the human condition is, we relate to it when we see it, when we're in the room.
We're
with it.
good at
Yeah.
it's a survival skill. We have to understand what a face is telling us, the subtext, all of that's in storytelling.
And when we come back, we're going to take a little break and then we're going to have a story. Yay, story time! Get out your mats, kids. I'm Donna Blanchard. I'm talking with Jeff Gere. This is The Arts in Hawaii, and we'll be right back.
Aloha, I'm Jay Fidel. This is ThinkTech Hawaii, broadcasting live from the Pioneer Plaza in downtown Honolulu. We raise public awareness about tech, energy, and globalism in Hawaii. Technology is critical to our state. A vibrant tech sector will give us new prospects in the global marketplace and will offer great careers and make our economy more resilient. Streaming live on Ustream and Spreaker, ThinkTech allows its hosts and guests invaluable opportunities to report important events and discuss important questions, and to be heard here in Hawaii and around the world. You can find links to our live streams on thinktechhawaii.com or on our mobile website, m.thinktechhawaii.com. And you can see our archive on YouTube. It's all just a click away. We want to do whatever we can to keep Hawaii relevant, connected, and thriving in the complexity of the 21st century. We hope you will help us in those efforts. Tune in today. This is ThinkTech. I'm Jay Fidel. Mahalo.
Hi, we're back and we're live. This is the Arts in Hawaii on the ThinkTech series. I'm Donna Blanchard, Managing Director of Kumukuhua Theater, and I am talking with storyteller Jeff Gere, the
City and County of Honolulu Department of Parks and Recreation's drama specialist.
Drama specialist, that's what I wanted to get.
You still can't believe it.
Now, I know, it was not flowing off my tongue for some reason. That and Kevin Spacey. Now we're going to have a story.
Oh boy.
So excited. And I said you should choose which story you wanted to tell, where you'd like to go. So.
Well, I do have one on the tip of my tongue.
Okay.
Right here. As we were talking earlier in this interview about the Waipahu teen program and the spooky show that I was taking them on, they said, well, we've never been to the Makapu Lighthouse. Can we go in there? So I met them, and it was like dusk, and they were going to close the gate, so the buses were outside, and we took the walk. I heard about the boyfriend. I heard about the high school graduation and the big step into junior college from Bree. Now, Bree is a girl that I've talked to for like 7 years now. And we get to the top, and it's getting a beautiful view looking down the Windward Coast, and the kids are like, oh, that was great. Let's hear a story. Tell them 3 spooky Pele stories. We're walking down, now it's getting real dark, and they're starting to get in little clumps, and they've got their flashlights, and they're starting to, Mr. Jeff, tell us that story about, which one was that? So they start telling me the story that they remembered that was spooky before, until I'm getting them to tell me the story and filling in little bits. Yeah, that's a part. Yeah. And then, remember that part? Oh, yeah. It's just interactive. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. We get to the little wall, where the whale lookout is, up in the Makapu walk. And I say, this is a good place, let's stop here. So I tell them 3 more stories. Oh, it's spooky. Then we're going down now, they're really bunched up in little groups. And there's this one teenager, hyperactive, sure has attention deficit problems. She goes running ahead, and she'd hide herself in the bushes and then jump out and scare. Oh gosh. She jumped, this is like 4 or 5 times. So anyway. Now it's really dark. Bree, Mr. Jeff, I've been wanting to tell you this since last year. Oh yeah, what? Well, she starts to tell me about her family. Her mom ditched her when she was 8 years old, to her sister who was 10 years older, 18, just got out of high school, so she's been raised by her older sister, who she calls Wanda. Wanda married her high school sweetheart, so Wanda and her boyfriend, husband, raised Bree. Now Bree's just got out of high school. We just moved in with Wanda. We was moving into this new house, this new little house. Oh, it's in Waipahu. Not the new kind, but the old kind, the kind like plantation house. And I don't know if I told you, but I what they call sensitive. What's that? I feel the spirits. You do? How do you feel it? What does it feel like? Oh, I get like chicken skin. It goes up my back. When I start feeling like oogie all over, all my skin starts busting out. And I walk into the house we just rented. We just paid the rent, and I got that feeling. My skin starts crawling. And I go, Wanda, this place is haunted. Something wrong here. Bree, there you go again. We just paid the rent. Come on, give it a chance. So they eat dinner. They hang out. It's time for go to bed, right? Where are you going to sleep? Down here. Shows her into a bedroom that has a bunk bed in it. And she says, I'm not going to stay in here alone. You're going to sleep with me. Okay, I'll stay. You're on the top. So in her pajamas, goes up in there. She can't sleep. She's tossing and turning. She's trying to sleep. She can't sleep. And then there it is. Over her head in the attic of the house that they just moved into, she hears footsteps, walking, length of the house, back and forth, over and over, right above her head. She goes, Wanda, you hear that? She says, well, I do. Just go to sleep. Just go to sleep. Put your head in the pillow. She puts her head in the pillow, and then boom, boom, boom. The steps stop over her head. She picks her head up out of the pillow. Not good. The door into the attic is right over her bed. And she sees the door to the attic go. Starting to lift up, boom, head of the cup into the pillow. She says, clear as a bell. Mr. Jeff, I could hear it. Wanda, from below, she say, clear, clear. Not too loud, but real clear. She says, Bree, whatever you do, don't look up. And what do you think she did?
She looked up.
Of course she looked up. What are you doing? She said, well, wouldn't you look up? You want to see? Yeah, okay, what? She said that she saw, coming out of the crack of the little door into the attic, she said, you ever see somebody with coffee and they pour the cream in and it hits into the coffee and kind of goes boom, so to spread out, like slow motion, kind of like little swirly curls? Coming out from the door, like being poured in, was like a smoke. And the smoke was pouring out and starting to swirl and spread out. She put her head back. Now I'm telling this in the summer fun. Now I'm getting the blank that you have at Kevin Spacey. This kid said, what is the name of it? It's the term for that ghost fluid. I said it this morning to myself. It's ectoplasm.
Ectoplasm.
Yeah, this kid says, I think that's ectoplasm. From the back of the summer fun, everybody laughs. I'm like, yeah. And I say, anybody know what that is? Another kid says, it's ghost goop. And I say, yeah, I think it is ectoplasm. And it's that stuff that makes ghosts, right? So she says, her head's in the pillow. She says, and that's when I felt it touch me. My ear start to freeze. And then it crawled down, the freezing going to my shoulder, down my arms, down to the tips of my toes. I'm laying in bed, the whole side of my body is freezing. And then again, it just passed by and go away. How was it? I was gone. Next morning I wake up, I'm like, Wanda. Wanda was gone. I got on my clothes, I go out in the kitchen and say, Wanda, we gotta get out of here. Oh, last night, freaky, man, we gotta go. She says, Bree, don't even say it. I already called the landlord. He's giving me back the deposit. We're moving out today. And she says, and that's a story I've been waiting for the whole year to tell you that story. That really happened, Mr. Jeff. Thanks, Bree. That's a really good story. Yeah, for real. And the story that she told me on the Waipahu Summer Fun Walking Tour, I just told to you.
Thank you very much for telling that. That's fun. I can imagine having. Yeah, I appreciate the illustration of that. I can imagine the room full of kids just, or the side of the mountain of kids, absorbing.
But isn't that exactly what it's about?
Yeah.
Getting through words and inflection and facial, all the tools you could possibly do to get you to see it. So that when you imagine it, it's happening to you. And when I can get you to imagine it, and then it happens to you, then you don't forget it. That's the magic of storytelling.
Is it important to you that the story be told and retold and the story continues, or the tradition of storytelling?
I suppose it's like my life work.
Yeah.
I suppose it's as important as anything else. It's important because I think it's important. But right action, right. The Buddhist teachings, it's that way because I think so, not because it has to be that way. But I think it's worth doing. I think it contributes to the whole goodness of life, more peace on earth, that kind of stuff. Fuller human beings who can see gray instead of black and white.
Well, I think that anything that engages our minds, gives us focus for longer than a couple of minutes is good for our minds.
Hello.
Anything that engages us in a story of someone else's experience and perhaps a thought pattern teaches us how to think to some extent, or at least what
I would
happens
say.
when your thought patterns run this way or that.
Well, I'll tell you, when I was an elementary school teacher, the kids would do anything if I said, no time for stories today. Oh, no. Oh. It's powerful.
Yeah, for all of us.
For all of us, humans with ears.
Thank you so much for coming to the show. We've got to wrap up here. I do want to take a moment and thank Stacy Eubanks, who provided the lovely graphic that's behind us of the International Storytelling Center in Jonesboro, Tennessee. If you have a chance to go there, please do. Check it out. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
If you have a chance to check out
The Talk Story Festival, October 18th and 19th, down at the Alawai Clubhouse, the golf court clubhouse. The second floor is the ballroom. Lots of room, even for you.
for
6 to
everyone
9,
there.
absolutely free. Friday night it's Spookies, and Saturday it's Deep Tales.
Where can people get more information?
They can go to www.honoluluparks.com and push Talk Story.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And I would like to also thank our production manager, Ian Davidson, who not only said Kevin Spacey, he also said ectoplasm before either of us.
Good man.
Our communications director, Chrissy Goffigan, and to Jay Fidel, who somehow manages to put it all together. Thanks to you, our listeners, for listening to the Arts in Hawaii. To check out our previous broadcasts on YouTube, just go to thinktechhawaii.com, and please like us on Facebook. We'll see you next week. Bye.